All this extreme festival of motorsport action is proudly brought to you by G&H Transport and Car Care Clinic. Welcome back to Zwartkops after lockdown. It's round 2 of the National Extreme Festival, and the 2.4K circuit has been wanting some rubber down on it for a long time. It's great to be back here, but no spectators yet, as we look forward to changes in the very near future that will hopefully bring all of our fans back and all the action. As you can see, conditions not quite what we wanted, 20 degrees Celsius, and track conditions a little bit cooler than what they'd like. The safety distances are in place, so are all the PPEs, as we get ready to go now for the Extreme Supercars, proudly brought to you by G&H Transport. Nice field of supercars out here, headed up by Franco Scribanti. The 997 Porsche seems to be on song now after the big break in getting everything right. Natal's Greg Parton is back in the house as well in the Dryzit Environmental Hurricane, and that Lamborghini will be looking to take on G&H's little bulls that are ready to go with Ricky Giannacaro, and we're on board with him as we head down towards the start line. Ben Morganwood on the outside there, just putting a bit of squirt on, and got that machine of his absolutely lit up as they go down into turn number 1. Trans-Africa Racing's Mark and Jonathan du Toit side by side, tucked in behind the Budnik Viper. Yes, that's the big V10 Viper who's squeezing into turn 2, looking for a way through there on Silvio Scribanti in the awesome all-conquering Audi. As they come out there, a little bit of issues at the back end. Ben Henry Goby just running a little bit wide, but it's all about the Porsche at the front end. 997 and Scuderia Scribanti pulling away at the front with Franco leading things out. Here comes the battle between Ricky Giannacaro in the Lamborghini. Right on his tail is Jimbo, Big Dad all over the back of him, and Jim Giannacaro looking for a way through. Can't find it just yet. Partner in second place, holding off Silvio Scribanti, then Budnik, then Mark du Toit, Jonathan du Toit, and Ben Morganwood. Morganwood can't find a way through just yet on the 2 Ferraris. He's got Ricky Giannacaro closing him down. Big gap being opened up now by Franco. Look at the Dryzit Environmental Hurricane under attack from Silvio Scribanti as Scribanti starts to put the pressure on. 2 Ferraris flying through G&H Transport corner as they come to complete the first lap in anger. And remember, it's a slightly longer version of the racing that we have here on the day. These guys going at it for 15 laps and absolutely nothing in it between these top 3 cars as they try to close down on the leader. It's 2nd, 3rd and 4th place that is heating up. But the leader, Franco Scribanti, is pulling away rapidly. Silvio Scribanti, his cousin, looking for a chance, and the Audi a little bit further back there of Goby as he starts to come up under a little bit of a maneuver through turn 2. Using a little bit of ground though, but he's leading Class D ahead of De Roos. So there's a bit of a change-up that could potentially happen there at the end. Richard De Roos in the Porsche, remember, a big incident from him just before lockdown at the Speed Festival, and he's got that car all sorted out. Speaking of sorting cars out, this Audi is just turning into a big giant killer. And it's an ex-production car that we're racing there. And Silvio Scribanti with rear-wheel drive only. It's not an all-wheel drive version. Looking to now try and pounce and find a way through there on Parton. Parton just later on the brakes in the Hurricane. And the Dryzit Environmental man looking to have to go defensive at every single occasion now. And he'll have to be wary of the big V10 Viper coming along for the right. Big flames out of the Viper under the downshift for turn 1. The Viper now trying to pounce. Oh, lovely. Once again, great shot of the flames coming out of that car as they go down into turn 2. Oh, Parton runs a little bit wide there. That's going to give an opportunity possibly to Silvio. And it looks like Ben Morganwood has found a way through on the 2 prancing horses. Mark du Toit ahead of his brother Jonathan. And the 2 Ferraris with no answer to the big gunner of Ben Morganwood. Ricky Giannacaro now can see the Silver Dream Racer just up the front end there of Jonathan du Toit. And he's trying to close things down now in the first of the G&H Transport machines. On board there with Ferdinand as they went through turn 3, closing down on the 2 Ferraris. Toys now trying to just keep and maintain some good pace around the circuit. Remember, they run in the GT3 category. So we'll wait and see if that's... Oh, he has a change up. Oh, there's a move there from Silvio Scribanti getting out of turn 7 and making a move there on the Hurricane. And looks like Greg Parton didn't see that one coming. So Silvio Scribanti now makes it Scuderia Scribanti 1-2. Change up as well between the 2 Trans-Africa Racing Ferraris, and Jonathan du Toit drives around the outside. Mark du Toit looks like he might have a bit of a problem. This looks like Ricky Giannacaro is going to have a go here into turn 1. No, he just keeps the door shut. But he's definitely looking for a way past on these 2 Ferraris up ahead of him as they go towards turn 2. Looks like Gianni's got some problems. We caught up with Jimbo Giannacaro just before the race though, down in pit lane.
We're looking forward to it. It's like having a new home. It'll be so great to be back. And let's hope that it'll hold out and we can carry on until next year and see what happens then. But yes, we are so glad to be here, and it's something new. It's like something brand new for us, and it's unbelievable what 4 months or 5 months has done.
Coming to the flag, though, Franco Scribanti has not put a wheel wrong. He'll take the victory ahead of his cousin Silvio. It's Scuderia Scribanti 1 and 2. So we wait for the Audi to come down the hill. Right behind him will Chris Budnick, and Budnick in the V10 Viper will be third place. Great drive from him. We'll be looking to maybe just improve slightly. He's going to look and think, hang on a second, where did that Audi find the speed? He certainly looks good as all three of them head down into turn 1 after race number 1 here for G&H Transport Supercars. Franco from Silvio and Chris Budnick, the A+s 1, 2 and 3 on the road as well. GT3s goes to Greg Parton. A great drive from Ben Morgan to win out Class A. Jimbo Jonakara takes Bs. Jackson and Gobi Cs and Ds. Let's catch up with Franco Scribanti.
Not a very hard race for us because the big guns aren't really out. I don't know where they are, but they don't seem to be here. So it was just a fact of conserving it and getting to the end and breaking our monkeys back for the season, because we had a bad race at the beginning. So now it's all behind us and we go forward.
Nice to see Silvio Scribanti with a massive improvement in that car. Great to have Ben Morganroot back on the grid as well. And a little Audi there. The R8 is certainly a big contender in Class C. Let's see what happens now as they roll out for race number 2. Henry Gobi, final car onto the track. It's a rolling start as always for G&H Transport Extreme Supercars, and it's Franco Scribanti who will dictate the pace with Budnick alongside him. 997 versus the V10 Viper. Audi A4 right next to him. Looking for a way through early on will be Parton. Greg Parton had a fantastic outing in the first heat. Can he keep it all together now for race number 2? The two Ferraris tucked in behind Ben Morganroot as they go through turn 1. Oh, Morganroot with a wheel on the dirt. That's not the way you want to be starting things out there on Ben, but onto the brakes. And has he been caught and possibly passed? No, he hasn't. It's literally a Ferrari and Lamborghini arsenal coming up on his tail, looking for a way through there on the man from Ranfontein. Ricky Jonakara behind Mark Dutoy. Dutoy looks like just around the outside. Was that the Silver Dream Racer? Yes, it was. Jonathan Dutoy just getting ahead of his brother as they went through turn 3. Jimbo Jonakara now closing on the back end of Ricky Jonakara as they go through 4 up towards the top of the hill. Just behind that, you can see them lining up with Len Henry Gobi going at it there with Marius Jackson. Nice little fight there with the C's and D's. Back up to the top of the hill, and this time out, it wasn't Jonathan Dutoy who was going to allow his brother to dictate the pace. He got to the front early on. Speaking of the front, Scribanti leading things out at this stage. Gianni Jonakara with the turnaround. He's up in the second place there ahead of Parton. So the leading Lamborghini is not the Hurricane. It's the GT3 machine heading down towards turn 2. And on his tail, though, is a very determined Greg Parton. And right behind that, a big turnaround there for Ben Morganroot. Morganroot fighting hard there with the A4 of Silvio Scribanti. He can't find a way just yet on the machine out front, but it is very, very close. Then you've got the two Ferraris. Oh, Budnick's got a problem. Budnick's had an off somewhere, and there's bits and pieces of that Viper and the tailpiece flying behind him. So Chris Budnick will be a bit concerned. There it goes. So I was going to say, if they can just get rid of that, it'll make his life a little bit easier. But he's got some work to do now. He was, remember, fighting here for about 4th and 5th, eventually up 3rd overall in race number 1. So it hasn't gone according to plan there for Chris Budnick in the Viper. Johnny Jonakara having a fantastic second outing here for race 2. And now Parton with big pressure being applied there by Scribanti. Scribanti around the outside. Byron Tings and his team have done an incredible job on that car to make it this competitive. And here's a big look, and nearly takes off the front splitter on the back end of that Hurricane. Ricky Jonakara now caught and passed by Budnick. Budnick with a lot less Viper to play with there as they go through turn 6 and into turn 7. Ricky Jonakara trying to stay with him. Doesn't quite have the same amount of oomph as that big V10 in front of him. He's certainly got the handling when it comes to the Lamborghini. And in fact, he's got ahead of Dutoy, who's dropped behind him. So Mark Dutoy must have had an issue somewhere on the circuit, or there's a problem on that Ferrari. And the Trans-Africa Racing Ferrari has dropped into the clutches now of Jimbo Jonakara. Looks like Silvio had a dive there on Parton just in the background as we watch Gianni heading through turn 4. Let's see if he's able to make it stick. Yes, he was. He made it stick, and looks like Ben Morgan is going to try the same thing there on Parton. Ranfontein versus Natal. Oh, here we go. Oh, Ben Morganroot, well, he's got a Ranfontein panel beaters. He might have to have a chat to Greg Parton about that and help him out with some panel beating on that Hurricane. But he just squeezed him out and eventually forced his way through. So it's now Silvio Scribanti up into 3rd place, Morganroot up into 4th, and Parton now under pressure. Greg Parton's had a fantastic day and drives an environmental car. And that Hurricane now has got a bit of pressure coming from Trans-Africa Racing. And that is the Ferrari 458 of Jonathan Dutoy. Head down towards turn 2. Dutoy looking determined and looking for a way through. He's already seen that maybe Parton might be a little bit rattled. Gobi trying to close onto the back end there of Jackson. Nice fight between these two. Another one of the G&H Transport BMWs at the back end. Now trying to find a way through there on that R8. Speaking of finding a way through, here comes Scribanti. Very late on the brakes there. Gianni opened up the door slightly. It might give him a chance. Can he get through into turn 6? He can. Scribante forces Gianni Giannacaro out. Hopefully he's not got the same issues. They had a bit of fueling issues in race number 1. And Giannacaro just has lost a lot of ground there. Maybe just got rattled by the maneuver that was put on them there by the A4 as they come into the final corner. And a couple of laps to go now for these two. Oh, and a big moment there. Budnik getting out of shape in GNH Transport corner. The Viper just spinning out and spitting everywhere. Hopefully he gets that going again. No, he's stuck. That Viper looks like it might have given up the ghost, and Budnik now stricken on the sidelines. Formation flying here for Scuderia Scribante. Look at that. Franco slowed down slightly to give Silvio a bit of a sniff. They'll go across the line. Line astern and side by side. Brilliant stuff. And right behind them, it's Gianni Giannacaro hanging on for third place and the win in GT3s ahead of Ben Morganhout, who'll take Class A's victory in fourth place overall. Confirmation of the two Scribantes at the top. Giannacaro and Morganhout, and Parton taking second in GT3s. Let's catch up with the winner from the GT3 class, Gianni Giannacaro.
Look, I started 6, and then I went through turn 1, and I had I had Silvio, I had Ben and Chris all on and Greg on the inside, and they lined up in turn 2. I just drove around the outside, and then something happened between Silvio and Chris, and I just managed to get around and put my head down and go. I broke away for a bit, and then Silvio caught me, passed me, but all in all, third's better than not finishing last. So, no, we're happy with it. Just shout out to my crew, Segan, Josie, they did wonders with the car.